What's up guys, it's me Jeremy. You guys seem to really like our last surprise one-shot champions video, so we created a new list looking at some off-meta picks that once again can put out a surprising amount of damage. Easily enough to pick off a squishy target before they can do anything about it. And with the last video, when we say one-shot, we do kind of just mean, killing someone instantly before they can react rather than a literal one-hit kill, because that isn't exactly possible in most situations. So definitely keep that in mind. And hopefully you guys can enjoy the champions. And big thanks to ProGuides.com for helping us out with the editing on this video. They have some awesome, really dedicated guides and some really great content on their website, so definitely check them out if that's the kind of thing you're into. And they do have a free trial, so you don't have to take it from me, you can just check it out and decide for yourself if you like it or not. And anyways, let's get started. First up in our video today for the surprise one-shot champions is full AP Malphite. And to be clear, most people kind of know, how much power AP Malphite packs in the first place, but he's definitely a surprise one-shot champion because pretty much everyone expects Malphite to be played tanky. A lot of players don't really pay attention to items that often during the game, especially on the enemy team, so when they see a Malphite, they automatically just think, okay, he's gonna build armor and be a tank. And this can lead to some really awesome moments where all of a sudden Malphite just pops out and one-shots the enemy AD carry. Most of his damage definitely comes from his ultimate, but his Q and E also contribute and finish off that last bit of health when it's not quite enough to kill someone by itself. Because most of his burst is area of effect, Malphite can take out multiple enemies kind of effectively as full AP actually, so later on in the game, he can still be useful with a well-timed ultimate, even if he might be struggling to find a single squishy target to assassinate. Next up is actually full AP Nunu, and he's honestly just the absolute definition of a surprise one-shot champion. His AP scaling is pretty nuts overall, but we're mostly talking about his ultimate, one of the most surprising one-shot abilities in the game all by itself. If Nunu's in a bush, his ultimate is actually invisible, so unless an enemy notices the slow, they're gonna end up being bursted down pretty hard, or honestly just literally one-shotted if Nunu has enough AP. That's really the idea with this off-meta style of Nunu play, just building full AP and taking him maybe top or mid so that you can just aim to land lethal ultimates on people. It can be a little bit tricky to set up and requires a lot of strategical prowess, but having one teammate bait the enemies into a bush where Nunu's charging up his ult can be a super easy way to just win a quick teamfight, get a pick, or just kill someone instantly for an awesome moment of gameplay. It really requires some good timing and coordination with your team though, and kind of a little bit of luck too, but it's so damn satisfying to pull that off, and it's well worth trying full AP Nunu just for that sweet, awesome moment of landing that huge ultimate. Also, this is kind of like a little off thing, but it combos with Ryze's new teleport ultimate ridiculously well, which definitely earns it bonus points kind of. Start channeling Nunu's ultimate and then use Ryze's ultimate to teleport him into the middle of the enemy team for some epic damage and a crazy amount of style points. I definitely like this one a lot, so I wanted to include him on the list. He's definitely a lot of fun. Next up on our list, we have full AD Nocturne. Although it's a little bit of an off-meta pick because it probably wants to be played best in the top lane or in the mid lane actually, not in the jungle. People actually kind of underestimate Nocturne, but he really can put out a ton of damage with not only his basic attacks, but he has a ton of AD scaling on his ultimate and his Q, letting him burst down a target pretty hard and function pretty much just like an assassin since his ultimate is point and click with an insane range. He also has huge AD scaling on his passive enhanced auto attack, so the idea is you pick a squishy target from across the map, dump on them with your ultimate, throw out your Q during the animation so that they land at the same time, and then just auto attack them, and the full combo, if you do it perfectly, can land almost instantaneously. Nocturne's Q gives him bonus AD while he stands on the trail leaves behind, so the next auto attack will also deal crazy damage due to the bonus damage from the passive, comboed with the Q. Honestly, there's not really a ton of counterplay to this sort of playstyle other than just having to survive the burst somehow, because Nocturne can travel so damn far with his point and click ultimate. But I guess that just makes it all the more surprising when the target you choose finds themselves staring at a gray screen and a death timer. Now we also have Darius, who's definitely worth a mention actually for his surprise one-shot potential as well. I mean, most people tend to think of Darius as, a pretty tanky champion that kind of just cleans up kills with his ultimate once enemies are stacked with hemorrhage or maybe hit low by his team. And that's definitely the case for tanky Darius, the meta build of Darius. But let's talk about full AD Darius. He can one-shot you pretty much happily all by himself, and it honestly really does not take him long to chunk through your health, and he's surprisingly powerful in the early levels too, well before he even has his ultimate available. He acts like quite a lane bully when building full AD and relies on the sustain from his Q instead of tanky stats to survive the laning phase, or, you could just kill the enemy laner, that works too. And they say the best defense is a great offense, and Darius definitely isn't lacking in the aggression department, so it's actually a really fun way to play him, and as long as you can stay alive during teamfights, maybe get good positioning with some flanks or something, you can deal out some crazy damage in an area of effect, and then just dunk everyone with the ultimate resets. Honestly, if you get the right setup, you can just kill everyone by yourself almost. And when it comes to surprise though, it's hard to say that anyone really beats out AP Zack. This guy really just appears out of nowhere with this huge elastic slingshot range, and although a lot of people, pretty much everyone's gonna expect him to be tanky, he's actually quite effective when built full AP. And full AP Zack is definitely the champion that you guys pointed out in the comments from the previous video, so it was definitely something to include in this one. And honestly, all of Zack's abilities have crazy ability power scaling, so once he lands a long range slingshot, he just casts his other spells off and just quickly deals with, whatever unfortunate squishy that he happened to land on. The best thing about Zack though is that his kit is also packed with crowd control, so there's not a whole lot of ways to escape once he actually does land his slingshot ability, so it's quite reliable to burst someone down in one shot if you can actually land some sort of crowd control effect on them. It can be a bit tricky to get used to landing the slingshot ability, but once you've gotten that part down, the rest of his spell rotation just, lands automatically. They're pretty much impossible to miss if you land the slingshot. And it can also be used to engage, chase down an escaping enemy, or maybe just kill someone straight up as long as they aren't too tanky. Zack's damage output is maybe a little bit lower than some of the other champions on this list, but thanks to the raw amount of crowd control he packs, he gets a lot more of a time window to actually burst a target, which more than makes up for it, and he can still completely kill a squishy target from full HP to 0 before they can react to it. Once he lands that first knockup, it's just all over. And last up on the list, we have full AD Renekton. It's been a little bit of a theme this time to cover champions that are kind of surprising because they're, built in a different way, and Renekton is no exception to that. Going full AD is a little bit more common amongst Renekton one-trick players who are really confident in their ability to carry the game, and the real power here with Renekton is in his abilities, which have seriously high base damages and a ton of AD scaling. So Renekton can shred through multiple targets without much of an issue, and he definitely enters one-shot territory when you use his W with that extra fury bonus or that bonus damage. It's pretty important to be able to get into position if you're going to try to one-shot a squishy target, but fortunately Renekton's quite good at this thanks to his doubled up dash, and it actually deals quite a big chunk of damage in the process too, while also shredding some armor. A full rotation is definitely going to be enough to deal with any squishy targets, and thanks to Renekton's lifesteal and the health from his ultimate, he actually does have a lot of staying power in fights, and won't be taken down nearly as easily in the fight, even without building any tanky items. So we had a little bit of a theme this time around with our focus on more of off-meta picks that can surprise people with the way they're built, rather than, damage that they just have built into their kits. And playing off-meta builds like this is a really fun experience overall, and honestly that feeling of just one-shotting someone, just, running up to someone and just killing them instantly is such an awesome moment of gameplay. It's something that I absolutely love in League of Legends. And the fact that you do it on a champion that is so much more surprising than maybe a meta pick would be, makes it honestly a lot easier to get that moment of gameplay. And it's seriously awesome to be able to just insta-kill someone with a champion that they never thought they would die that fast to. There's also still a ton of other champions out there though, so maybe if you guys have any other favorite unexpected one-shot champions that we haven't mentioned in either video, definitely let us know in the comments below. And looks like that's going to be it from me. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe if you want. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.